Thank you. It really is an honor to be here today. Can you all hear me okay?
Yes.
My name is Mike Jaffe, and I am a local resident, and I am what's called a human wake-up call. And what that means is that I provide perspective, tools, and support for organizations and individuals so that they can create new possibilities in their personal lives and their professional lives for their companies. And we are living in very interesting times. A time that some people call a storm, where new possibilities are very much needed. And it's during these storms that it's so easy to lose our perspective, to let those fears, right, those limiting beliefs that we have come up and start to get in the way, start to define our actions, start to tell us what we need and what we're all about, when in fact they really are just fears and limiting beliefs. And so during these times, during these storms, it's not only a matter of surviving the storm, but how do we thrive during this storm? Now, a lot of times after these storms, after we actually get through these and the sky turns blue again, we look back and we realize that these happen to be some of the most important events of our lives. They're not the happiest. We don't enjoy them. They often bring pain, sometimes loss. But they become really important milestones of our lives because they make us who we become. We're called to be somebody that we may not have been otherwise. And so it's taking that perspective, knowing that as we get to the other side of this storm, we're going to look back and say, you know what? This was important. This served a purpose. This wasn't only about the fear or the loss. This actually generated an underlying stream or wave of positivity. If you look at the wave that's going on now, even take something as simple as the $4 gallon of gas. At the time, that there's pain involved there. It hurts, but you know what it caused? It caused everybody to take a step back and say, maybe there's another way. Maybe there's a different way to do this. Same thing's happening in our economy, and this time through this storm, you can feel this underlying wave of hope and possibility, even living amidst the challenge and the fear and the pain. During these times, I like to say that we all need a moment of truth. We all need a wake-up call, some pillar of strength that we can lean on that'll get us through that storm. Think of it as, here we are trying to cross this crevasse on this rickety bridge, one of those bridges that has these rope handles and it's missing some planks, and we're making our way across, and all we want to do is run back to where we know it's comfortable. We know that that may not be the right place to be, but that's familiar to us. That's where it's comfortable. But yet as we look forward, we see the other side. And the other side is really where we want to go, but it's scary. It's hard. And so we need to take one small step at a time to get there. Now for me, my moment of truth, my wake-up call happened about 7 years ago, as Sandra talked about. And at the time, I was living my life floating down the river. That's what I call it. I didn't really have a vision for my life. I didn't have a vision for my career. I worked at American Express, and I worked at Marsh & McLennan, I worked at some of these other places, but what happened was I really kind of just let my career take me where it went. I wasn't really proactively managing it. It just, something showed up and I said, okay, I can figure this out, and I did it. And there's real value to that. But at the same time, I was not empowered in what I was doing. And we had moved to Westport at the time, and I learned what it felt like to commute, to really commute. And so what would happen was, we had one car at the time, and I'd get up in the morning, and my daughter was 1 year old, and we would drive me to the station. She'd be sleeping in the back, and I'd commute into work, into a job that really didn't have a lot of meaning for me. I was just there. And after a long day, I'd commute back home about 2 hours each way, as many of you are familiar with. And they'd come and pick me up, and my daughter would be sleeping in the back. And this would go on. And I started wishing away the weeks for the weekends. I started rounding up my life, 5/7 of my life, just to get to those times where I could be with my family when they were awake. And I knew this is not the life that I wanted. This is not the kind of father I wanted to be. This is not the kind of husband I